Me. A lot of excitement in the air, a lot of energy in the building. It has been leading up to this. I would just tell you we're in a much improved situation at a lot of positions than we were a year ago this time. Quarterback being the main focal point during camp. We all know that. You've been asking, everybody's wanting to know, can't go anywhere, people want to know who the starting quarterback is, and I get that. But I'll tell you this, I've been highly impressed by the improvement and the competition at this position. And I think it's the growth in 1 year from John Stephen Jones that he's shown us and has shown his teammates is in the track that he's on to having an incredible career here. KJ Jefferson, his athleticism, as we've all seen, we all knew that coming in, and his playmaking ability is well ahead of where we thought he would be as a true freshman coming in here in just a short 3 weeks of camp. So his starting point was definitely much higher, and his growth through camp has shown great promise. Everything's earned in this program, nothing's given, and Ben has earned the right to start and will be our starter week 1 going into Portland State. Ben Hicks. The competition between Ben and Nick has been impressive, to say the least, over 3 weeks. Nick has done a great job and has picked up the offense in a few short weeks and has an incredible skill set. And we're excited to watch his continued growth and knowledge of this offense and the understanding of this offense in weeks to come. But we feel very confident in Ben and in his complete overall knowledge, as you would expect. Ben has been in this offense for 3 years. Been here since January. Nick has been in this offense for 3 weeks. But to see the growth of what Nick has done over 3 weeks has been extremely impressive. And I think Ben has an incredible command for everyone and where everyone should be. We're going to play a lot of young guys. And that alone was the main deciding factor. Is his ability to know where everybody's supposed to be able to get our offensive line in the right protection and do it at a pace to where the game, because of his experience, is a little bit slower. So experience and the knowledge of the offense, and playing a lot of the young guys. But this week is always about us. It always will be about the Arkansas Razorbacks, regardless of who we play. Portland State's experienced. They are one of the more experienced teams. They have 8 offensive and 9 defensive starters back. And they have nothing to lose. They're coming in here. They're going to be ready to go. They're going to pull tricks out, specials out. They have nothing to lose. They're excited about traveling here, and I think that we're going to get their absolute best. But as I've said before, many times last year, it's about how well we can execute, how well we can play to our potential, one play at a time in game 1. And it doesn't matter who we play, it's always how we play. And I'm excited to watch this team play. I want to see us play fast, I want to see us play physical, and I want to see us play to our standard going into year 2. So with that, I know there'll be several questions, so I'll open up for questions.
Raise your hand, we'll get a mic to you. Tom?
Chad, you touched on a little bit what was the deciding factor at quarterback. When did you tell the guys? What was Nick's response? And
Sure.
do you expect to play both guys?
Sure. Well, we've definitely got to continue to get Nick's experience up. So, the game will dictate a lot, but I do anticipate having an opportunity to play additional quarterbacks, that being Nick. So we really started talking about this in depth Saturday night and led into Sunday. Beanie Bowl had nothing to do with it. Beanie Bowl was nothing more than a glorified game of moving on and off the field and personnel changes and situations. So we just came to the conclusion that the main deciding factor was the fact that with the amount of young players that we're going to put on the field week 1, that Ben's overall understanding of where everybody needed to be. Not that Nick doesn't have that, but Ben's got a better command naturally 3 years into it. But we've been very impressed with Nick, and be able to bring him along.
Coach, you've coached Ben Hicks for many years. You've seen him since he was a freshman in college. How much growth have you seen from him, and in what areas, and what about his personality fits commanding this team?
Well, I think with Ben, and being with him for 3 years, he's a fierce competitor, like all quarterbacks are. And, I just think that what I have seen, I've probably seen him mature more from our last year and not being with him for 1 year, and then him coming in here in January and essentially starting from ground zero with a football team and with guys on his team, and watching him having to mature. I've seen just his maturity level, and just the knowledge of the offense, I guess you would say, is really elevated. We told, back to your question, we told the quarterbacks this morning. I met with them and shared with them this morning, and just said, hey, this is there's going to be many opportunities through the course of the season. Make sure that you're ready and you capture your opportunity.
What's the game status for Colton Jackson, Trey Knox, and C.J. O'Grady?
Colton will play. Colton should start. He'll go through workouts this week. He was with us last night. The Trey Knox, we anticipate having Trey out for practice on Wednesday. And Corlin Jackson should be full go. He practiced full speed last night.
O'Grady?
CJ ran well last night. Actually, was pushing a sled a little bit. You saw him running some, not at full speed just yet. We'll see. Again, Wednesday would be a great indicator for CJ.
How's the team responded to Ben since he got to Arkansas, and what's his leadership style like?
Well, Ben is just a competitor. I think he's much like all the quarterbacks in that room. I mean, they when they're on the field, they're the field general. They're in charge, and guys rally around him. They've rallied around Ben. Again, they've known Ben a little longer, since January. I do know that, watching these guys rally, I mean, they want to win. The bottom line, this football team wants to win. These players want to win, and it's about production on the field. And guys going out and producing on the field, regardless what you do, will gravitate a lot of guys to you.
Yeah, Chad, I know Myron, you got him starting at right guard, but I know he's also worked first team left tackle. That's pretty good work, both sides of the ball, to different spots. What do you thought of Myron's versatility and kind of camp he's had? What kind of season do you think he'll have?
Well, Myron has been extremely athletic, a great addition to our football team. We saw that last spring. I think I've been saying that for quite some time. He's got an incredible future ahead of him. He's multiple, can play several positions, very athletic, moves really well. And I think he's definitely one of our top guys, top 5. And his versatility is really going to benefit him and this football team this year. He has a chance to have a really good year, really good career.
Chad, you said you would walk backwards to Fayetteville when you got off the
I did.
job. You've been in it 1 year. Can it be done here? Can it get done here, and where are you?
Well, absolutely it can be done. It can be done, or I promise you I wouldn't be here. I can promise you that. This is, as I shared when I got the job here, this is a sleeping giant. Now, there's times that you throw cold water on somebody to wake them up, wake the giant up. I mean, you may have to throw a couple glasses of cold water on them. And so it's this is not an overnight fix. I've said that. I've said it year in since I got here. And it's traveling our great state. This doesn't happen overnight. Especially when you look at a snapshot of Razorback football over the last 10, 12 years. I think that we're building something special. I've talked about building a program, and I'm committed to doing that. I think our culture is established, and it will continue to be defined every day. So without a doubt, I would walk backwards again to Fayetteville, because this is going to be a special place.
With Nickelback, it's not listed, would that be Brooks, and who else would you have?
Yeah, Greg Brooks would be our starter right there. I know he's going to get a lot. And then we'll, obviously our Sam backer would be Hayden, but Greg, Micah Smith is another one that's gotten some substantial reps there at the nickel position.
If you happen to watch Florida Miami Saturday night, there was a lot to unpackage in that last 4.5 minutes of the game. A lot of lack of discipline and stuff. Is that something you can immediately give lessons to your team about and have you in the way you do that?
Well, those first games, there's always a lot of unknowns. And until you get through that first game and go through some of those situations, no matter how much you practice it, until you get out there and go through it in a game environment with a crowd in the stands, you have to learn some of those things. And so everybody goes through those game one. You definitely address it with your team, as we did yesterday in our team meeting. We did talk about that, and some of the things that happened and transpired in that last 2.5 minutes. But you also talk about the resiliency of players that when they did make those mistakes Saturday night, they had to still step back up and respond and perform, and I thought that's what they did. So, yes, we did.
Coach, you've mentioned, of course, Hicks will be the starter and his overall knowledge of the offense being the reason, but just from a physical standpoint, could you maybe do a little pro and con comparison of Starkville and Hicks and like what Hicks might do better than Nick and vice versa?
Well, I think obviously we've talked about the knowledge. I think that with knowledge comes the game slows down a little bit for you, and unless you've played this game or coached this game as long as we have, that's hard to put into someone, the average fan, to realize what does it mean by the game slowing down. Well, it's about anticipation. It's anticipating that this is about to happen. This window is about to open up and be able to get the ball out on time. That's what experience brings you. I think from a skill set with Nick, he's got an incredible arm strength. He's got the size. He's got decent speed. And I think that his decision making has been impressive during camp, especially trying to put this offense in 3 weeks with him. He's a studier of the game. So yeah, I believe that there's I don't say pros and cons, but those are some of the strengths that both have. Ben is a competitor and understands where to go with the ball at the right time.
Just to follow up on that, what's Ben's arm strength like, and what is he able to do with that talent in this offense?
Yeah, I think Ben's arm strength is he's got a good arm strength. I think he's accurate. I think when you look at the overall breakdown of camp and the accuracy, I think he's just been accurate with it. Does the ball jump out of his hand like it does Nick? No. I think anybody can see that. You can watch that in warm-up. But that's just because I don't have to throw the ball and the ball jump out of my hand to be accurate. Accuracy is a big part of this, of what we do, and while Nick is extremely accurate, I mean, Ben is too, and I think a lot of that has to do with he understands where to go with the ball and when to get it there.
Coach, just want to ask, been typing that depth chart story out. On the depth chart, you've got Lloyd and Bauer listed as co-starters, or have you decided on that?
Both guys will punt. Each one is a little bit better than the other in certain situations. And so, for this first week, we're gonna punt both of those guys.
Last year, at the end of the season, we talked about you were breaking down the offense and what you wanted to see, improvement, wide receiver with separation, and take advantage of some of the matchups that you get with this offense. Where are you now with, especially with young receivers like Burks and Knox and Mike Woods? Because those guys haven't played a lot.
Well, no, they haven't played much at all, and so I think that not just the wide receiver position, but all the positions that we brought these freshmen in, that this has been what we thought when we were recruiting these guys has shown through the first 3 weeks of camp. Now, you get them on the field, you get the coaches off, you get the crowd in the stands, the band playing, you know, there's a lot of things that are going through a freshman's mind, and there's a lot of the speed of the game is really fast. They don't have the experiences that some of these guys do, that where the game is a little slower and they can anticipate a little better. But I'm excited about them. I think we addressed the needs that we needed. And I think that Traylon and Trey Knox and Mike Woods, I mean, we could go on and on with these guys. They definitely have addressed the areas that we needed. We've still got to continue to grow that. And we're